So let's talk about something that sounds like a total contradiction. What happens when you take one of humanity's most logical, rational creations, artificial intelligence, and you apply it to one of our most irrational and chaotic activities, war?
And that really is the question, isn't it? Can this incredible technology actually end war as we know it? Or could it accidentally start one? It seems like it has to be one or the other. But the crazy thing is, we're being forced to confront both possibilities at the exact same time.
All right, so let's start with the optimistic take. You could almost call it the utopian vision. This is the argument that AI isn't a threat. Actually, it could be the very thing that makes war less horrific. So this is the big idea, right? The pitch for AI in warfare is that you can use this pure data-driven logic to strip away all the messy human stuff, the fear, the anger, the exhaustion, the bias, all the things that make war so tragic and unpredictable.
And you can see that contrast laid out right here. On one side, you've got war as we've always known it. Imprecise, emotionally charged, with a high risk of tragic mistakes. But on the other side, well, that's the promise of AI. We're talking surgical, logical, and data-driven decisions that could, in theory, save so many lives.
So what does that actually look like on the ground? Well, we're talking about some pretty incredible stuff. AI that can predict enemy ambushes before they happen. Drones that can go into hot zones so humans don't have to. Systems that can sift through mountains of data in seconds to give commanders the best possible advice. The whole goal is to make things clearer, more efficient, and ultimately safer for everyone.
Okay, but for every bright, shiny promise here, there's a flip side, a much, much darker one. What happens when that exact same cold logic is let off the leash? What if its incredible competence is exactly what makes it so dangerous?
And this quote, this really hits the nail on the head. The fear isn't that AI is going to wake up one day and hate us. It's not Skynet. The real danger is an AI that is just too good at what it's told to do. An AI that's programmed to win at all costs might follow that logic to a conclusion that we would find absolutely horrifying.
And that brings us to this term you've probably heard thrown around, laws. Lethal autonomous weapon systems. Let's be really clear what this means. This isn't just a fancy drone being flown by a pilot thousands of miles away. No. We're talking about machines that have the authority to find a target and make the decision to kill, all on their own. No human in the loop.
So yeah, what does happen when you take the human out of that loop? Because that one question, that changes everything. The idea is to remove human error, but you also remove human judgment, intuition, and maybe most importantly, you remove the brakes. Okay, get this. In a typical military operation, making a big, critical decision, it takes time. On average, we're looking at about 24 hours. You've got people talking, checking things, debating. There are safeguards. Now, hold that number in your head, because in AI, it can do the exact same thing in about 0.2 seconds. That's not just faster, that is a completely different reality. The gap between those two speeds changes the very nature of war.
And that speed, that's where the idea of a flash war comes from. It's terrifying. Just look at how it could happen. It all starts with one tiny mistake. A drone misidentifies a car. An automated defense system fires back instantly. Then the other side's AI fires back in microseconds. And boom, you have a full-blown war erupting before a single human has even had a chance to look at a report.
So, here we are, standing at this fork in the road. On one path, you have this promise of a cleaner, safer, more controlled kind of conflict. And on the other, the nightmare of a war that spirals out of control before we even know it started.
And look, the most important thing to remember is that neither of these futures is guaranteed. This isn't some sci-fi movie that's already been written. The future we get is the one we're building right now, with the rules, the treaties, and the ethical guardrails we decide to put in place.
And these are the massive, thorny questions that people are wrestling with as we speak. I mean, think about it. What does meaningful human control even mean? If an AI makes a fatal mistake, who's to blame? The programmer? The commander who deployed it? These are the debates happening right now, and there are no easy answers. When you strip it all away, that's what we're left with. This is the ultimate double-edged sword. It's a tool that could save countless lives, or it could unleash a kind of conflict that we literally cannot stop.
So that's where we'll leave it. The machines are only going to get smarter, faster, more capable. The real question, the one we all have to think about, isn't really about the tech anymore. It's about us. In a world of superhuman speed and logic, what's the future of human control?